Welcome to another episode of the Para Cave podcast. And now over to your host, Troy Warner, broadcasting live from the world-famous Para Cave.
Was it daunting in a way to go to another country with a young family as well?
I always say this, like, at the time we're like, yeah, let's go. But as it got closer and closer to say goodbye to the family, it really hit my missus different when it happened, when we were on the plane and saying goodbye. It was like, wow, this is real. I remember being on the plane thinking, have I made the right decision? Started questioning myself. You know, that the fear of failure started coming back. The clarity was starting not to be clear anymore, and the belief in myself started to drop. And I was like, what's going on? And this is what a lot of players go through. Whether they just move from Parramatta to Penrith or Penrith to Parramatta, they still have these types of thoughts. And I was lucky enough, like, watching my wife cry and say goodbye and the kids missing, like, I knew that they were doing this all for me. And I was like, man, I can't go there and be half-hearted.
Yeah, you got to put everything in.
So I might as well go all in, you know? And if it works out, man, like, the rest is history. But if it doesn't, unless I can say I went hard as I could. So, man, I grabbed the tissue on the plane. I remember this, and they were all asleep. And I just wrote down every excuse why I wouldn't do well in England. Yeah. Every excuse, you name it, bro. Run. And then after that, when I couldn't think of any more failures or excuses, then I had a line across, and I wrote the outcome to beat the excuse. Yeah. So all the goals pretty much came from that. You know, being the best version of myself, playing every game for Castleford, making an impact in the community, creating my own family over there, hopefully run a business, buy a house. Man, I wrote all the things to counter all these excuses. Once I finished that, I knew exactly what I was going to do, and the rest is history.
No, it certainly is, because you really made a name for yourself over in England. Did you get to select your number, 15? Because the Super League have, they get to pick their own numbers, don't they?
Yeah. To be honest, I played every trial over there when I went over. I played the whole pre-season at back row. So I thought I was going to get number 11.
Okay, yeah.
Just, that's it, done. I thought, yeah, man, I've earned this, you know. Like, I've come from Australia, had a massive pre-season, played really well. And the guy that usually 11, he didn't train. He was injured the whole time. Talk smack every now and again, and just like, I thought, yeah, sweet. And then they named the numbers, and I was like, wow, number 11 and number 12. And I was like, 13, I was like,
what's going on?
And then number 14, and I was like, wow. And then number 15 was me, number 16 was Ben Roberts, and number 17 was Junior Moore. So it was all us Samoans, bang, 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 one after another. And no one said anything, everyone was there, and then me and Junior jumped in the car, and I said, flipping hell, man, what the hell? And then Junior Moores was trying to make me feel better, saying, nah, man, that guy that's got the 11, he's a gun. The local kid from the area, this and that, and he's cast legend, he won't leave the club. And I was like, oh, yeah. So, like, that kind of gave me, like, a bit of a chip on my shoulder, you know, frick.
To try and do better, like, and to
train
harder. More.
This coach thinks I'm just coming here to have a holiday.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, oh, okay. So, yeah, that year, man, with that mindset, man, like, not saying it was myself, but with that group that we had and the camaraderie we built, and, man, we're the first Castleford team to win league leaders.
Yeah.
We're the first Castleford team to ever play in a grand final. We're the first Castleford team to go to Old Trafford. And we're the first Castleford team to win the comp with nearly 8 games to go.
Yeah, wow.
So, like, there was a lot of history there, and a lot of, like, things that no one else can take away from us. Besides, we missed out on that grand final win. But, yeah, very, very blessed how that all worked out. And till this day, 2017 at the Tigers will never be forgotten.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's certainly a different game over there, and we saw recently in Las Vegas the English fans take over pretty much. What was it like the English fans over in England when you were playing, especially at home? I mean, I have heard that they're more parochial than Australian supporters with their chanting and singing.
Yeah. The culture, it's like everyone in your area goes for your team. You rarely have someone else go for another
Okay.
team. Like, if you go for someone and you don't live in that area, they'll be, like, looking at you like, what do you...
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd be in trouble then, being a
Yeah, like,
I'd be in trouble.
So you going for
Parramatta
and you're
living in Penrith.
Yeah,
I'd
it's
be in
a
trouble.
bit weird. But at the same time, all the songs and stuff, like, that's because they love the players. So they start making you a song, and, like, when I heard my song, I was like, wow, this is so cool. And then seeing people buy number 15 and have my name on, like, it's so, like, you can't really describe the feeling because you feel so proud, of your name. And then just the reaction of the kids or the fan or the grandma or the mum or the dad, like, it's so special. You there's no price to it, But then the songs, like, I was fortunate enough to have like 2 or 3 songs that they made for me. And I think what tops it off is, like, hearing your song is one thing every game, or when you score, or when you come say hello. But when you leave the club, right, because I left Castleford, and then I went back because I had to watch my son play at half-time. And as I, like, went back, they sang my song again.
Yeah.
While the first grade team was playing against Leeds.
Okay.
And they sang my song again, and I'm not even on the field,
Yeah, wow.
So that was pretty cool.
Pretty much a lot of respect then, isn't it?
Yeah. And then for them to say, Jesse's a Cass fan. Jesse's a Cass fan. Like, just it's so cool to connect, eh? And I think that's what a lot of the NRL players kind of miss when they go over, because you hear a lot of bad stories as well. And there is a stigma that when you come from NRL, you better show your worth.
Okay, yeah.
And you better, you've come from the best comp in the world, you come and show us that you're the best. And if you don't, you will get pasted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you don't show that you're actually trying to have a good crack and win and that, like, they can feel that. And I think that's what the Australians done at Castleford. We all come over and added value in some type of way. And I think that's what made it so special.
You mentioned their names on the back of jerseys. Now, just recently there's been a little bit of talk on social media, should the NRL do that? What are your thoughts on that? Should the NRL do that as well?
Yeah. So, I don't think it's the actual name and all that's the problem. I think it's, you got to follow the money.
Okay.
So it's who gets the money. So if the NRL own our name and our jerseys, then they own our rights of our name. So they make money off it.
Yep.
Whether some managers or some, RLPA, whatever, they could probably argue that that's image rights. So all the players would have to sign image rights over to their club for it to happen.
Yeah, okay.
Because that's what's happening in the UK.
Right.
You don't sign it, but that's what it is.
Okay.
So if it was here, mate, the players have obviously over here, the players have a big say as well. And if it's their names, the NRL can't really argue against it. So I think that's why it won't go through.
Okay.
If they can come to an agreement where, I don't know, where they split the money or thing. But I think that's the biggest problem.
Okay, yeah.
And that's why they do it like that here.
Yeah.
But definitely will make a lot of money. Personalised jersey for that year, 100%, because it's a brand.
That's right. We'll just have to watch this space. Playing a Challenge Cup final in front of 67,000 fans at Wembley, that must have been an amazing experience. Unfortunately, you didn't get the win because you were playing a St Helens team that were dominant in that period. But playing at Wembley, that must have been awesome.
Yeah, man, like playing at Wembley, playing at Old Trafford, and then playing at Tottenham Spurs home ground, because I played in the same kind of comp but for the championship, and I've lost all 4. But yeah, man, those grounds are, you can just feel greatness when you walk in those grounds. It's pretty surreal, to kind of take it all in, because it happens so fast. You play the game, you leave, you just realise, hey man, I just played at Wembley. And you don't really get to kind of embrace it all, especially when you lose. Like when you lose, man, your head's like not even there. I guess when you win, you get to soak it all in properly. and it becomes a really special emotional experience. But yeah, when you lose, it's hard to flush it straight away. It takes a bit.
Yeah, no, for sure. Do the clubs rank the Challenge Cup higher than the Premiership over there?
Yep. So if you're a local junior and you played for Castleford, let's say, a lot of them boys say, I'd rather win the Challenge Cup than win the Super League.
Okay, yeah.
Because you know how it works over there. So it's the best rugby league team in the whole of England.
Yeah, that's right.
Starting from A grade.
Yeah.
Yeah. So C grade. Say C grade, A grade here. It's like St. Mary's versus Canberra.
Yeah.
And whoever wins goes next round.
Yeah.
So you'll go to a local team. As an NRL club, you'll play at a local team's park and play at their sheds.
Yeah.
Yep. And play with their balls. And sometimes they make it bad on purpose.
Yeah.
They'll wet the field. So all these professionals aren't familiar with it, playing in the mud. Yeah, so the score's really close sometimes.
I reckon that'd be awesome to be over here.
Yeah, it's such a good, but then again here it's all about the money.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Yeah, who's going to take money? We're over there, they're privately owned.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, it's a tough one, but I'd love to see something like that over here for sure. Now, when it came time to make that decision to retire, how difficult was that? Did you have any plans in mind as to what you may or may not do in retirement?
Look, man, that's a tough word for me to say, retirement, because I don't know if you heard, but about 3 months ago, my wife's brother committed suicide.
Okay, sorry to hear that.
And we got a call about like 5 a.m. over there that, he hung himself. So we caught the first flight over. It took 36 hours from our front door to get to the hospital. We thought he passed away, but we got to the hospital. There was a bit of hope.
Mm-hmm.
He was in ICU. We thought, frick, we thought he was gone. So yeah, he got through ICU, and then he didn't lose his life, but he lost his vision.
Okay.
So once he got out of ICU, he was still blind, and he's still blind today. So he's going through that. Hopefully the vision can come back, but because he was hanging for so long, the oxygen went into the brain. So that's why his brain is very fragile right now. So there's some memories that have been erased, and then obviously the vision you can't see. So I went back home to England and I signed my new contract with the club over there, which was Sheffield Eagles. I bought our new house, investment, and check up on our businesses over there with property and also Talk Your Walk Foundation.
Okay.
But 2 weeks in, after my wife looked after her brother, she said, look, I couldn't live on the other side of the world knowing how much help my brother needs.
Yeah.
I can't come back. So my plan was to do 1 more year over there and live there, really. We had a good life, We were going to come back every year. That was the goal. And then 1 holiday every year.
Okay.
And just build our business bigger and better. 9 weeks ago, flipped our 4-bedroom house into 2 suitcases and moved back here. And here I am today. So yeah, that word retirement, I've decided, because my mind and my body's already been told we're going to do 1 more year. I've just signed with Penrith Brothers.
Okay.
In the Ron Massey Cup.
Okay, right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's where I started my career. So I'm going to finish 1 more year there, and try and win a comp down there, or see where God wants to take me. If I have to play up a level or 2, then so be it.
When does that kick off?
Next week.
Next week?
Oh, this week, yeah.
This week,
this
okay.
Saturday.
Yeah, okay. Is there anyone else of note that people might know of playing in your side at all?
I'm one of the old heads in the team, but no, I don't. They're all young boys.
Okay. Well, one player that you may or may not come up against is Jared Hayne. He's signed with Wentworthville.
Yeah, in the Ron Massey, isn't he? So it'd be good to see him, the Hayne playing back in, huh?
play against him. Now, you mentioned Talk Your Walk Foundation. Tell myself and the listeners what that's about and why you started that up.
Yeah, so Talk Your Walk all started back in the UK. 4 of us Castleford players met up for coffee every morning, and then we go training. Met up for coffee again, went for training. We did this for ages. One of the mornings, one of the boys opened up about, trying to commit suicide at age 14.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for his brother to come in, he wouldn't be with us. And when he spoke like that, it gave us all permission to speak about our problems. So it took one to be vulnerable, and that's why it's called Talk Your Walk. If he didn't talk, we wouldn't be able to walk life with him.
Nice. Yeah.
So that led into our podcast, sharing about us being vulnerable as rugby league players full time, and we just wanted to, break that stigma around that space and speak to us men, because 9 people die from mental health or suicide a day, and 7 of them are men. So we wanted to create a safe space for men to speak, and from doing that, our foundation kicked off, and now we've been in high schools, we've been in prisons, we work on leadership workshops, and we speak to the kids and creating that safe space for kids to speak at a young age.
Yep.
So when they get older, they know how to kind of communicate how they feel, communicate where they are, and communicate that you don't have to run life by yourself. Life is not made to be alone. It's made to be going with people that you love and trust and respect and up level. That's how Talk Your Walk started. And I've brought it here to Australia now. So
Okay.
I've been getting a few schools on board now, and starting to pick up. And my workshops for certain schools are throughout the terms of the school, and I'm looking after a lot of the kids around that space and using rugby league as a foundation to speak off, and also with all my experiences in the game, being dropped,
Yep.
being told I'm not good enough, being told that you're probably not a first grader, with all that stuff in my family, marriage, my kids, with all the experiences I've been through and how to be better, I guess I want to give that back and help our young people, not do the same mistakes I did, and hopefully that can make them grow into the best versions of themselves.
Nah, that's the worst. One of those schools that you are going to is my daughter's school, Ella, and she said she's been really enjoying the chats. That podcast in England, is that with Mr. Matangi? He used to play
Yes.
for Parramatta.
Yep, so we got Suia Matangi,
Yeah.
Quinton La Ulutongai, and then Peter Matautia. They were the 4.
Okay.
But right now it's just us 3 at the moment. Suia Matangi and the business over there and Talk Your Walk is growing so crazy. We just had our launch of the Talk Your Walk, and my goal is to bring it here in Australia and shine that light.
Nice. He actually came here a few years ago to the Para Cave. I think he was this was off season.
Yep.
Excuse me. Certainly one of my favourite players to play the game. I just love the way that he didn't have a sidestep. It was just straight and hard. But yeah, loved his time at Parramatta, that's for sure. Now, if anybody wants to get in touch with yourself or Talk Your Walk, how do they go about doing that?
Yeah, man, look, I think a lot of the contacts that come through Instagram, so Jesse Sene-Lefao. But we have our website and our Instagram for Talk Your Walk, no spaces as well. So if you want to reach out, man, Instagram, I think that's the fastest way. But yeah, just even reaching out to yourself, and you can give my details. I'm happy to help, especially if you know a group or a group of people, a group of kids that are struggling with something. It doesn't need to be the worst of the worst, but it can be just the little things, and if I can add value there, I'd love to. And our biggest goal this year is to get a grant from our council around here, Penrith Council and Blacktown Council, so we can hold free events for the community. And if I can do that, man, that'll be a big win for us. But yeah.
Well, let me know if you do get those and have those events, and I'll certainly pass those on to the listeners and promote that one as well, because that's a great idea. Just a quick one with, do you think the NRL should have a mental health round in the NRL each season?
Do they not have one?
No, they have their pretty much signature rounds in terms of like Beanies for Brain Cancer round, Indigenous round, Women in League round, but they don't have a mental health round, so to speak. That's labelled a special event round.
Wow. Okay.
Do you think they should have one?
Oh, now that you've said it, yes, I think they should. I thought it was something the NRL would have been all over. See, if we keep making it a secret, then imagine how many secrets are losing their lives. So if we can bring that awareness through the game, that would be awesome.
I know they are doing. The clubs are doing a great job behind the scenes, but yeah, a few people have raised it. I know Nico Hines has come out and said, yeah, that'd be a great idea to have a mental health round. Yeah, let's hope that we can probably get one of those up and running. That's for sure. Just a quick couple current common league questions. Other than your home ground, so it can either be in England or Australia, was there one that you used to love playing at?
In the UK, Hull FC's ground was one of my favourites. Yeah, Hull FC, and then in Australia, my favourite, I think, yeah, Manly was, Brookvale was like, you can't beat that.
Okay, yeah.
You know, I love Castleford too, because Brookvale's like Castleford.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because back then, Brookvale, right, was a public place. Like, anyone could come and walk your dog around the oval, and the sheds weren't the best. If it rained that week, the whole ground's stuffed up.
Yep.
You know, you'll have puddles on the field. They didn't, you know, and that was just the Manly way. Everyone hated come to Manly because of that, and that really, I was so proud to be a part of that.
Yeah, okay.
And I went to Castleford, and the ground's not the best again. The dressing rooms are smaller than this garage.
Yeah, wow.
And you share the same toilet.
Okay.
So you'll be
As the
seeing the other
opposition.
player, yeah. So it's very uncomfortable to come to, and our fans over there were crazy. Like, they never make you feel welcome. And yeah, it was just a real ugly place to come and try and get 2 points.
That's funny because a lot of Australian rugby league players usually say Canberra or Brookvale as the places they didn't want to play at. What about for yourself? Was there a least favourite, one that you hated playing at?
Hated playing
for whatever reason?
No, I can't really remember a place where I've got down like, I hate this place.
Yeah.
You know, especially when I was in an NRL, I was in a different space.
Okay.
Like, I was in a space of still, like, I'm actually living the dream. Saying, you can drive me anywhere and I'll play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was in that type of phase. So, I guess when you play in the UK, you definitely feel like that, especially being in the championship. Some of the grounds we went to, man, like, your whole boot will go down in the water.
Okay, yeah. Just so soft.
And I was like, wow, this is where we're at now. So just changing perspective, I guess.
That's it. What was your nickname whilst you played?
JSL.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just the initials?
Yeah, just the initials was a big one. Usually JSL, just, the commentators, Sene-Lefao.
Nice. That must have been a pretty sort of, I guess, surreal moment when you watch the commentary back and then hear your name being mentioned in the commentary.
Oh, yeah.
By, like, Ray Warren.
Yeah, definitely, man. Like, I guess you kind of, there was no, like, social media was big, but not as big as what it is now. But back then, that was the social media, being on Channel 9, on the Friday night or whatever it may be. And if you had the the live TV games, those were the best ones because the Sky games, I mean, the Foxtel it's called here, Foxtel was paid. So, like, if you're on those, you're a bit like, oh. But when you played on a Friday night or Sunday arvo, those were the best games to play in.
For sure. Who was the player in the sheds before a game when you just sort of like looked over to them and they gave you that confidence that you thought, okay, he looks like he's on today. We're going to be right.
Oh, for me at Manly, it was probably Anthony Watmay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he really, I feel like he backed me up a lot with the coaching stuff. He used to like go in and tell him like, why aren't you playing Jesse, or play him long minutes, and like that gave me a big confidence. And like for some senior group, to say stuff like that really helped. So yeah, I knew when he was on, like we were going to play well. But then again, we had some really good leaders in Steve Maddai, Brett Stewart, and Jamie Lyon. Those guys like kind of freakish, with the way they trained and just the skill component. Like what I learned straight away is with Cherry and that as well, Matt Bellin, like they'll pass a ball, and if it was just like a little bit behind, they would really be upset about it.
Okay, yeah.
Every pass and that would have to be like right there, and if it wasn't, the standard was like, hey, what are you doing? Like it was pretty high in terms of the skill, and Kieran Frewen was big on that too,
Yeah, he still got around this year, unfortunately.
Like just the detail stuff, that they were really, really good at, and just showing up when it counted. I think that was hard. Like Manly were known as lazy and don't train hard and stuff like that, but when I was there, man, like it's just every big moment they were ready for it.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And I don't know if they did a lot of mind work or stuff in their own time, but those key players, when the game was on the line, like they knew what play would really kill the defence.
What about the opposite? Was there a player in the sheds before a game who used to like mucking around, or was just you looked over and you thought, what's going on there?
Yeah, I think like in England and here was different, but Cherry Evans was one that I never understood, because he'll walk in with McDonald's before a game, and he'll be eating, or he'll come in with Maltesers, but then he'll be one of our best players on the field that day. So very mixed, like how people work, and you just know then if he's doing that on game day, that's what makes him feel calm, controlled and focused.
Yeah.
And all the reps and that he's done and behind the scenes where no one knew, because he, it's not like he just woke up and knew how to pass the ball and kick the ball like that. Like his hours on end, what he would put in. And then Zach Cardecker, I don't know if you remember.
Oh, yeah, played Penrith.
Yeah, so he come back to Castleford when I was there, and his prep wasn't the best either. Like he'd do certain things before the game that a lot of people probably wouldn't, but he would still be one of our top 3 performers, and train hard. He trained hard, but he loved to. Let's just say he loved to be up late.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, competitor.
Yeah, funny. Would then some of those players, would they fall into the prankster mode at the clubs you played for?
Oh, everyone is, man. I think in rugby league itself, if you're not a prankster, like you probably won't understand the banter inside a dressing room. So it's definitely getting chucked around. I think that's something that won't go out of the dressing room. So yeah, you just got to be ready. If you're not a speaker, you just have a few lines in the back pocket ready just to say it straight away when someone comes and get you.
Nah, fair enough. Now, you mentioned before early on that you wanted to go down the rugby league path because you wanted to jump on that big plane and travel the world. But if it wasn't rugby league, what do you think you might have done as a career?
I think I might have went into the mines.
Okay.
Because
tough job.
Yeah, well, I had 2 roads that I could have taken: the chasing the NRL dream, or go with my Kingswood boys and run unaffiliated. I don't know how to put this in words, but just run a different road. Because because my boys at that age were making some good money.
Yep.
But obviously they had to look behind their back a lot of the time.
Okay.
So I separated from them, and it was almost 5 years before I seen them again. But it just happened to be when I was still working and playing NRL, they come into the club one night and they're like, "Hey, I didn't know you were working here. I thought you were on TV, we see." And then, I caught up with them and they kind of said, "Look, man, back then when we told you you're a loser for leaving us, you left us, you dogged us, you're not really a dog, we love where you've gone.
Yeah.
And you're living the best life you can." And they were grateful for that, Unfortunately, 2 of them are inside now.
Okay.
But one of them is still out, but I can't see him, because he's always on heat, But man, that could have been a life, and it comes down to those decisions, when your back's against the wall. I always say this thing: you go for the fast money or you go forever money. And the fast money is obviously that, and then the forever money is rugby league gives you so much skills that even when the game's finished, I feel like I've got so many tools and skills that the corporate world can benefit off me, schools can benefit, and I have so much value to add to the community because I've been around a professional environment for such a long time, and that's the space I'm in now. So very blessed to be where I am now. Just building these relationships and contracts with schools and around mental health. But at the end of the day, my purpose is helping people become the best version of themselves.
Is there a avenue for yourself to get involved with the NRL clubs in the space that you are working in at the moment?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I rang Gus when I got back, and I said, "Gus, this is my situation." Told him, what happened. Told him about Talk Your Walk, and he goes, "Look, Jess, you've come at the right time. We're looking for a wellbeing officer to go under one of the boys there called Luke Goodwood."
Yeah, great bloke.
Great bloke.
Yeah.
Awesome story too.
Yeah.
So I did the interview, went for the job. So I was going to be able to work under Luke.
Okay.
And it was full time, and I just got off the plane, and I was so excited, because I felt like the interview went really well. I thought we kind of connected. Then 4 or 5 weeks later, I didn't hear nothing. I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And then I called Gus, no answer. Called Luke, and Luke ended up calling me a couple of days later, and they just said that they went with someone else.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Yeah. And I was like, oh. And I was kind of gutted because,
definitely.
And I was like, wow, I really felt like Bulldogs are going such a different direction now, and it's working. And for them to take a punt on me would be totally different as well, because the other people who were going for the jobs were experienced guys that's done well-being. But I come from, my experience wasn't showing certificates, but it was showing how many lives I've saved in the UK. That was my experience.
Yeah, true.
And sometimes people want certificates, which I don't know till this day. He just said that I missed out because they interviewed one guy before me, and he was pretty much going to get it, and they stuck solid to him.
Yeah.
And I don't know who it is right now. I want to know, but I don't know. But yeah, look, man, and I think that gave me the inspiration to go, you know what? If no one's going to employ me because I might not have certification for that type of work, you know what? I'm gonna just go into schools and get qualified on that side and just prove with the work I do. So yeah, been doing that for the last 8 weeks, and now God's been good. I'm getting a few contracts now. Obviously your daughter.
Yeah.
So I'm stuck there every Friday. I've got another one on Thursdays now, and then possibly this week, another school's come in and,
nice.
Connecting with Westfield Sports now. So there's a lot of opportunity now from nothing to something. And I'm very blessed, blessed to be in this position. And now it's just about picking, what really aligns with the work I'm doing and making it, so impactful so I can add value to the kids.
Nice. Well, shout out to Luke. Luke Goodwin. He's a good bloke.
I love that guy. He's good.
Missed out on a good one in Jesse. Luke.
No.
I'll get you on the podcast one day, Luke. So I'll give you a call later. Some personality questions to wrap up with. Favourite sport outside of rugby league?
Just in general, or
Well, yeah, it was one that you may enjoy watching or but maybe playing as well.
yeah, I love my son played soccer
Okay.
in the
Yeah.
UK, and I love watching him play that. He got really good. He was playing at a high level, not like for a Premier League team, but he was playing at a rep level over there, and I really enjoyed that. I'm a Leeds fan now.
Okay, yeah.
So we're in the championship and we're coming first, so hopefully we get promoted. But yeah, that's cool. But I think for me, I don't mind the one-off golf game, one-off tennis game,
Okay, yeah.
squash.
Yeah.
Yeah, just being away from rugby league, I guess sometimes is kind of refreshing.
Yeah, no, definitely. What would be the one unique thing they don't know about you?
One unique thing. I guess I get told that I'm energetic and, really motivated. But I think what's kind of unique is, I do feel down sometimes, I do have my down days and I do have my, days where I question myself still. And I think being a man of faith, believing in something, is my superpower. That keeps me level-headed and it keeps me, driving forward every day.
Okay. Yeah, nice. Favourite holiday destination?
Lately we went to Turkey and I
Okay.
loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, been to Croatia, that was pretty cool too, but Turkey really hit the spot, man. Probably Turkey at the moment.
Okay, yeah, nice. Which three former teammates do you think you wouldn't want to be on a deserted island with?
In Australia, man, it's been a long time. Oh my gosh, this is tough. Probably there's one in the UK, probably Oliver Holmes. Good fella.
Yeah.
But no, I don't really have anyone that I kind of wouldn't. I guess with what I've been through in my teaching leadership, I guess I can adapt to anyone really.
Yeah,
I think it's hard to be. I think it's the hardest people to work with are ladies.
Yeah.
I think they're wired different, but they just need more love than us men, I guess.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, what about this one then? You're hosting a bit of a two-part question. You're hosting a dinner party.
Mm-hmm.
What is your specialty meal that you're going to cook for your three guests?
Oh wow! Oh, 3 guests. Probably I'll go straight to a bacon egg pie
Oh, yeah.
and a curry,
Okay.
a chicken curry.
Yeah. Nice. And what about 3 people that you haven't met? Now, they could be dead or alive. Would you want at that dinner party?
Oh. We'll go Jesus. We'll go. Oh. We'll go. Robert Kiyosaki from Rich Dad Poor Dad,
Okay.
and we'll go one more. We'll go 50 Cent.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, he can provide the music. And speaking of music, the last one, who is your favourite musician or band to listen to?
Damn. I love like Bob Marley, UB40.
Yeah.
Those are like the go-tos, I
Okay,
guess.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of new, like you got like I'm loving 1/4 slow jams lately. The slower music with the little bit of singing in the middle.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, those are probably
What's your favourite Bob Marley song?
Bob Marley for Red Wine. No. What's it called?
Steer It Up.
Yeah, Steer It Up is a guitar one that I like to
Okay.
play. It's
Yeah.
easy.
You play guitar?
A little bit.
Yeah?
Not much. Not
Okay,
much.
yeah.
Yeah, Stir It Up is definitely up there, and then a la 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 long.
Okay, yeah. Nice. Did you have a pump-up song in the sheds that you used to listen to?
I'm more of a slow jams guy.
Okay.
And then I'll listen to a few upbeat songs as we get closer.
Okay.
So last year was probably a bit of 1-4, just before we go, and a bit of Stormzy, and I guess. But always starting off with the slow jams.
Nice. Well, Jesse, thank you very much for coming to the Paracave podcast, Paracave today, I should say, and being on the podcast. So I'll give you one of these ones, Paracave podcast hat.
Thank you.
That you can wear loud and proud. And, I really appreciate you coming here and having this in. It's gone for over an hour now. I've taken up a lot of your time. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the chat, and love the work that you're doing around the community. And it's very important that what you're doing, and so keep that up. And good luck in the season for the Ron Massey Cup.
Thank you.
I'll have to keep an eye on your socials for your progress and see how you're going, but I really appreciate you coming on the podcast today.
No, thank you. Enjoy, man. God bless.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. See you next time.